Good evening and welcome back to Prime of Midlife. I have finished work for the day and I have made a list, just because I'm sitting here hungry just now, about the top 10 items I have been taking from my prepper pantry, because it's always good to know what it is that you're going to use. And the items I have taken are absolutely not what I thought they would be, I have to say. So let me get started. My first item is sugar. Obviously, I've made so much jam. I have sugar in my tea. Patrick has sugar in his tea. So I have gone through so much sugar. Now, I did buy a whole lot. It's in Mylar bags. I am not opening the Mylar bags just now. So I need to start buying sugar again and putting it in my little food grade buckets, a couple of which are popcorn buckets, if you've seen the previous video. So I need to start buying more sugar, because what I thought was going to last me months has not. So that's number one. Number two that I've noticed, micro rice. Now, I know that I've talked about the video where I did the dehydrating the cooked rice. I don't have much of that left, so we've been using micro rice, and oh my goodness, we go through so much of that, because like last night when Patrick was here, we had a couple of chicken Kievs out the freezer, and I'm like, yeah, just go and get a sachet rice. You know, I've got no oven chips in the freezer, certainly not peeling potatoes. Go get a bag of micro rice. Today for lunch, nothing planned for lunch, so I took a bag of micro rice with me and had that for lunch. So I am going through an awful lot more of them than I thought I would. So that's also quite a surprise to me. Number three is jam. Again, specs, sorry. If you've seen the thing on the community thing, I put the post about 25 jars of jam. I go through a jar of jam probably every couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, because most mornings I will have toast and jam. If I don't have toast and jam, then I'll have crumpets and jam, whatever. I go through jam for breakfast. So those 25 jars I will go through quite happily. If I had not made them, I would be starting to get through my stock quite quickly. So yeah, that's been quite a big use out of my stockpile for myself. Milk. Now, as you know, I am rural, so getting to the shops is a pain. I will get some stuff delivered, but normally at least once a week I am into my UHT milk, and I only have one box of it left. At one point my prepper pantry had six packs of the UHT milk. I've now got one, so I need to start stocking up on that. Obviously I go through that with tea. Patrick drinks a lot of tea, we both drink a lot of tea, and you know, I've just gone through it. I haven't kept up with that, so I need to make sure to get some more of these. Obviously what I'm writing down here is now my new shopping list. After jam and milk, I have bread products for the freezer. Again, rural, shopping's a pain. Previously I've had like a loaf of bread, a spare loaf of bread in the freezer. If I was in the supermarket and though breakfast crumpets were reduced, I would buy them, or muffins. But recently I got a whole lot of meat products for the freezer, so I didn't have room to put a spare loaf of bread. So thankfully I've been working on the freezer, and I should have room for the next time I go shopping. I should be able to get a spare loaf of bread and some more crumpets and things, because that completely throws me if I don't have bread products for my breakfast. And yes, I can make bread. You know, the recipe is on the channel. I really don't feel like making bread when I come in from work. I don't mind doing it at the weekend. So if I run out midweek, that's a bit of a problem. So I need to start stashing some more bread products just for breakfast, and maybe making that a monthly or a 2-weekly buy, just so that I've got something there. Mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is next, because I use a lot of that for sandwiches. Again, bread products. I use it with pasta to make a tuna mayo pasta thing, throw in peppers, onions, mushrooms, etc. So I go through quite a lot of mayonnaise, and what I've noticed is I used to buy the big jars because Kathleen, when she was here, she went through a lot of mayonnaise as well. But now I'm on the smaller jars, and of course I go through them much quicker, which is better because they're not sitting as long. But I go through a lot of mayonnaise, so I need to up my levels of that. Dried onions and mushrooms. If you've seen my video where I'm like, comfort food, I'm making soup, I don't feel well, it is like onions, mushrooms, etc. I just throw the dried stuff in, and I go through a lot of dried onions and mushrooms. So thankfully I made a whole lot of them when I first got the dehydrator, so I'm still not too bad. But if there are any mushrooms on offer, they're just getting dehydrated because I go through so many of them. And I also do lentils. I like lentil soup. It's a Scottish thing. We have lentil soup quite often. And I'm looking at the big jar, the big Kilner jar that I had with lentils in it, and it's not even got 1/4 of an inch in the bottom. I do have packets up the stairs, but I'm going to obviously bring one down, so that's me going to be down a bit. I need to keep on top of the lentils, especially for winter, because there is nothing more comforting than lentil soup in cold weather. Just has to be done. Cat food. Excuse me. There's quite a lot of you have said about pet food, especially in the States. It's amazing how much cat food you get through. I never thought about it because I bought so much to stockpile, but now I'm going through it that I've had to start buying at the back end as well. I thought it would last me a lot longer. It does not. So there will be more cat food getting bought very shortly, just to keep my levels up, because that has to be done. And my last thing is super noodles. I know, not exactly healthy food. But when you are not organised in the morning and you've got to run out to work and you're not coming home for lunch, super noodles are a really good thing to just lift and run, and you can make them in a mug in the office. So yeah, I go through quite a lot of super noodles as well. So that is my top 10 things that I have found I am going through a lot of in recent months and have noticeably depleted in my stockpile. So there is, I don't think I've done one yet, I can't remember, but obviously you get your beginner's preps where they're like, get your water, get your pasta, get your canned goods, get that. I have the basics. What I'm now finding is, what am I using? What am I using more often? What is getting depleted from my stockpile more often? Because that's what I need to be shopping for, to make sure that I keep it up to levels that is not going to have me going up the stairs going, oh no, I don't have any of them. I mean, the thought of going up the stairs and not having sugar for my tea just is horrific. That's just no. And no jam, no milk. I mean, that's just, and the milk has gone down so badly. So that's another thing to think of, is obviously we're rotating our stockpiles because you don't want to keep the same things at the back all the time. You want to use them as they're coming forward. But there will be things that you're using more often than other things. And I think it's sensible to find out what they are, especially if you're quite new to this like I am. Find out what you're going through. Make yourself a list, like me. It says beginner preps, what I use. This is now my shopping list. I will be doing an online shop tonight because I don't know when I'll be getting to the supermarket. I'm not taking the chance. It's getting done now. So there you go. I am off to go and do an online shop. Hope you're having a good night, and I'll catch you later.